Hi guys, welcome back to Murder y Comadriando a la Distancia. How are you guys?
Hello. We're good.
Good. So today is episode 10, and today China will be telling the story. Now, just for preface, me and Rosa don't know anything about the story. China did not want to tell us anything. She didn't want us to look into it. It's a mystery. So our reactions are going to be genuine. And then for the most part, I give the most stupid faces, but our reactions will be genuine because we haven't heard the story before. So go ahead, China.
Okay, so this is kind of a long story, but I feel like not a lot of people know about it. And if they do, like, I haven't seen YouTube videos on it or anything like that. So the case I'm covering is of Matthew Shepard. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him.
No. I want to say it sounds familiar, but it might just be the Shepard part because I'm thinking about Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Derek Shepard. Huh? Okay, not Derek Shepard. Okay, cool.
Okay,
we're good.
now I did type it, so I will be reading it, but I did not have time to pre-read it, so it's coming out how it's coming out. And we're gonna wing it if we have to.
You always do a great job.
So, okay, let's get started then. So Matthew Shepard was born on December 1st of 1976 in Casper, Wyoming, to Judy and Dennis Shepard. And Matt also had a younger brother, and they were complete opposites. So the younger brother was taller, Matthew was shorter. The younger brother was more athletic, and Matthew was more like skinny and didn't have that athletic body.
Yeah.
So when Matt was young, he was very creative and very talented, and he was so kind to so many people, and he would even write poetry. And he would often go and write these poems on little notes, and he would leave them in his neighbors' mailboxes. And one day his grandfather ended up telling him, like, hey, you can't do that. Like, that's illegal. Like, you need to have a stamp on there. You do. It is illegal.
I'm happy you double checked because I was about to ask, is that illegal? Really?
No, it really is. So if you leave like a letter in someone's mailbox and it's just like randomly saying something, yeah, that's illegal. It has to have a stamp on it.
What?
Yeah. So
that's good to know. Next time I send a note to my neighbor, I'm gonna stamp that shit.
Stamp that shit.
So his grandfather ended up telling him, like, no, you can't do that. Like it's illegal. Like, no. So
I did not know that.
So instead, what he started doing was he would go and he would leave them beautiful rocks in all these people's mailboxes.
Did he stamp the rocks?
I don't think
Grandpa's gonna come out and be like, you need to stamp the rocks, son. That's a package.
So from a young age, his mom kind of started noticing that he may be gay. So this story, it is gonna have racism. It's gonna have
like homophobic.
Yeah, like hate crime and all that. So just to get that out of the way.
Sad. Okay.
So his mom kind of started notice, like she kind of knew at an early age that he was gonna be gay. Because, for multiple Halloweens, Matt dressed up as Dolly Parton.
Okay.
And that was his favorite costume, and he would even wear it like without it even being close to Halloween.
Okay.
So in school, Matt was voted the most friendliest and would care a lot about people, and he liked doing acting, and he loved politics. So he could like hold a conversation with like an adult through politics, because he even would read the newspaper. And so he, like, his mindset was more mature. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matthew did always say that he wanted to be famous for something and be a diplomat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A diplomat.
And make a change. So Matt's junior year in high school, which was in 1994, his dad got a job in a company in Saudi Arabia. So he ended up moving the whole family. And his parents kind of seen this as a good thing because they wanted their kids to explore different countries, different states. Like they wanted them to go out of the United States. So they
Yeah.
thought like, this was a good idea. So they up and left, and Matt started attending an American boarding school in Switzerland because Saudi Arabia did not have an American, like any American schools at that time.
Okay.
And Matt had tons of friends, and he loved his friends dearly, and he was very, very friendly. Like that's what all his friends say, is that he was always very friendly, very kind, and so a lot of his friends, he hadn't came out to them, but they all kind of knew, like they said
Yeah.
Yeah.
they said, well, we kind of knew when he finally told them. So
Yeah.
they
It
were,
wasn't like a big surprise to them. Just because
yeah.
he probably had like feminine mannerisms or certain little things that would give him away. Because there's always those little things.
hmm So now at that school that he attended was kind of like an abroad school. So this type of school like to send kids out to different countries so they can see different places and see the different views. So Matt and his friends chose Morocco. And the school was kind of iffy about sending them only for safety concerns and sending American teens out to Morocco because all the other, like normally they would go, I believe it was to Europe,
Yeah.
so like places in Europe that, so this was the first time that students actually told them that they wanted to go to Morocco. And so I guess they did end up going. So the kids end up going to Morocco, and they said they were all doing well, having a good time, trying to stay safe, and they would go in groups. So it was not like it just one was alone. Um Now here while they're in Morocco, his friends did notice that he was being more of himself. Like he wasn't so, like he was kind of letting more loose to his,
Yeah.
like him being gay.
Mm-hmm. More
Uh
open.
yeah. So now one night, Matt went out for a walk to clear his head, and at like 2 a.m., they heard a knock at a door, and they heard that it was Matt crying, and he was screaming. And when they opened the door, they noticed that he was shoeless and shirtless and screaming and crying. And when he was finally able to talk, he did say that he was walking back to the room when he was pulled into an alley by 6 men.
Oh
And he
no.
was robbed and raped. Um,
Oh.
Now after this happened, they did go, like when they went back home, his friends and parents did say that this changed him a lot. Like he was now walking more slumped, like he didn't have more of that peppy to him, like he was
Yeah.
more quiet and more reserved. Because I mean, this is a traumatizing thing, like 6 men
That
and
is
you by
very
yourself.
traumatizing.
Yeah. So so they said his posture was more like slumped. And he did tell them like he didn't want anyone at the school to know
Mm-hmm.
like what happened, just to his closer friends and the people that were there. And
Yeah.
so now on his freshman year in college, he finally did come out to his mom, and she was very, very understanding. And she kind of did tell him to, like, well,
I kind of
that's
figured.
fine. Your
I
parents know.
knew.
Because they say,
Yeah.
a parent always knows.
Yeah.
Um, and he did tell her, like, do not tell dad. Do not tell dad. Like, I want to be able to tell him. And she promised him she would not tell him, but she did go and she told him. She told
Ah.
Dennis. But she did say the only reason why she told him was because a lot of times when people are caught off guard, you don't, like, they say something that may hurt the person because
The
they're,
reaction.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
they're very like vulnerable, and anything
Yeah.
you say at that moment, you like he might
Might
regret
regret it.
telling you or opening up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So she did end up telling Dennis, and she just kind of gave him like the forewarning. And finally, when Matt was ready, he did tell his dad, like, hey, I have something very important to tell you. And he told him, I'm gay. And his dad just told him, okay, what's the important thing you have to tell me? Because I have more shit to do.
Oh, well, that's a nice reaction.
And he just told him, you're my son, and that's all that matters, and I love you.
That's
Aw,
sweet. That's
that's so
really
nice.
sweet.
So after he told his parents, he was a little more open, and he did even come out to some friends, not all of them. And for a while, they did say he moved to Denmark, and he was kind of more depressed there. Like they said he just wouldn't shower, like his room was disgusting. It was just thrown, and I mean, he had to live through a traumatizing thing, so
Yeah.
it's understandable. They said that
Yeah, it is.
he was deeply, deeply depressed.
Oh no.
So he did end up deciding to move back to Wyoming, and he went to the University of Wyoming, and where he was striving, and he even made a mentoring program at this school for the LGBTQ community.
Oh, that's good.
And he made friends there, and he did mention to many people and friends that he finally felt safe there in Wyoming.
That's good.
Now, on October 6th of 1998, Matt met with the LGBTQ group and from the university about celebrating Gay Awareness Week that was coming up soon. Now, on their way home at around 9 p.m., Matt did not want to go home right away, so he decided to go to the fireside bar, and
Okay.
no one went with him, just himself. So they were all like, we're too tired, we just want to go home. And let me see. Lost my place. So when he got there, he sat up on the bar by himself and got a beer. And the bartender said this was not unusual, that he had seen Matt like a few occasions that he would just go by himself and sit at
And
the
have a
bar. So
drink.
yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't nothing unusual. And he said he was pretty chill. He was even having a conversation with a few different people, but then also more with the bartender, like because that's the one person that you communicate the most with.
Yeah. I've never done that. I've never gone to a bar and sat by myself at a bar.
I don't think I have either.
Have you,
Me neither.
Rosa?
No.
I mean, I've been to bars, but I've never gone by myself and sat at a bar.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
interesting.
think I don't.
And then, sorry, I was just thinking about that out loud.
Now, the bartender did say that he did see Matt come by himself. So around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., two men walk in.
Okay.
And they order a pitcher, but they paid with nickel and dimes.
What the?
And and these two men were 21-year-old Russell Henderson and 21-year-old Aaron McKinney. So after they paid with their nickels and dimes, the bartender did say that he was hoping that they would leave right after because he did not want to do that again. Like, have them come out with nickels and dimes.
Right, with more nickels.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
So there's a documentary out. It's called Matthew Shepard Was a Friend of Mine. And that you can find it on, I found it on Pluto TV. You just have to search it. And
Okay.
it talks about this documentary. So in the documentary, two sheriffs did say that Aaron was a man who would get in trouble often, and he was like the asshole of the town. And
Okay.
Russell was more quiet, and he was the follower. Now,
Yeah.
Aaron was an open homophobic racist.
Of course. Of course.
Now later on, both Russell and Aaron say they both seen Matt, and they said he must have money. So they wanted to rob him. So what they did is they decided they would go into the restroom. They came up with a plan to act gay and lure Matt out of the bar to rob him.
So they knew he was gay.
Yeah, because they said like, because
His
when
mannerisms, the way he was.
yeah, they said like you can just kind of tell.
Yeah.
So the bartender did see that all three left together, but he did see it was weird because when both guys asked for the picture, they didn't interact with Matt. So he kind of knew like something was up. And he did say that this is the
Oh.
last time that most people saw Matt alive.
Aw.
And so when they did lure Matt out, they drive away in Aaron's truck, and Russell is driving. So Aaron is like, I guess, in the passenger, and so it's Russell.
It's like a bench seat, and it's like the
Yeah.
driver, and then Matt in the middle, and then Russell in the passenger.
Yeah.
Okay.
So out of nowhere, Aaron just tells Matt, "We're not gay, and you're being jacked," and he started assaulting Matt. And he only assaulted him to try and get his wallet, but Matt literally just handed him the wallet, like told him here.
Take
And
it. Yeah.
in that wallet there was only $20.
Hmm.
So
Oh.
so Matt just hands him the wallet, and Aaron did say in his confession that he willingly gave him the wallet, and the cops even asked him, "Did you take the wallet by force?" And he's like, "No, he gave it to me." And when he was hitting Matt, it was said that he hit him with the butt of a 357 Magnum revolver, and all he was doing was just continuously hitting him over and over and over again.
What guy was that?
Huh?
What guy was that?
Aaron.
Aaron. Oh,
Yeah.
I hope
So
that SOB gets what he
so
deserves. That
Aaron
is so messed up.
so Aaron is like the leader,
The
and then Russell's more
okay,
of a follower.
It's the homophobe. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
man.
they end up driving to an off, like they go off of the road into an isolated area, and they drive out to where there's a fence, and this is where they struggle to drag Matt out. And they did say that it did, like when the cops all showed up, they did say it seemed like if Matt ran away, like he kind of got away, and they
Yeah.
did drag him back because there
Oh,
was so many dragging.
Oh.
that's so sad.
Um, so Aaron told Russell to get a rope out of the truck so they can tie Matt to the fence. And when Aaron tied Matt to the fence, sorry, I lost myself. Oh, so Aaron's the one that tied Matt to the fence, and Russell and both Aaron did say later on in their interviews that Russell did not hit Matt, but Russell was there just watching and giggling because he found it funny. So when Matt is tied to the fence, Aaron just keeps beating Matt over and over and over again. And he beats him with his fist and also with the butt of the revolver. And once he is satisfied, he not only took in his wallet, beat Matt, but he also stole his shoes.
A revolver is heavy.
Yeah.
A revolver is very heavy. I don't know if you guys have ever held one. Very heavy. And Aaron is a fucking piece of shit. I hope he gets what he deserves. And Russell too, because he's over there giggling like a, I don't know how much I can cuss on YouTube, but
You know what? We know what you meant.
Russell he a little bitch for just giggling over there in the corner, like.
So later on in the autopsy, it does show that Matt had a total of 18 hits to the head with the butt of the revolver, four skull fractures, and the fatal blow was behind his right ear, where they caved in his skull and crushed it so bad it crushed his brainstem. But it did not kill it, but it did crush it. So your brainstem is the one that has like all your active functions, and like it does a lot for you.
Mm-hmm.
So they did crush it, but they They didn't like severely.
Sever it.
Now Matt was left tied to the fence, going in and out of consciousness in the cold because this was October in Wyoming.
Yeah.
So now 18 hours later, on October 7th of 1998, Aaron I want to say his last name is Creefless. I don't know how to pronounce it. He was only a 19-year-old student, and he was riding his mountain bike near what is now as, I think it's called Pilot Peak and Snowway View Roads in Lemire, Wyoming. And the street names have changed after the murder, so it's probably not named like that anymore.
Okay.
And this is also where the fence is, and the fence is no longer there. Like to this day, it's no longer there, so you can't go and look for it.
Yeah.
I like Google map it. See what comes up.
So Aaron, the kid, the 19-year-old, he hit something on his bike like while he was riding, and it made him fly over his handlebars. So he got up and he dusted himself off, and he kind of just looks around, and he sees something that looks like a scarecrow hanging from a fence, and he thought it was a Halloween prop because since this was in October.
Yeah.
So he did have to take like a harder look, and because he said that the prop did look really, really scary, when he takes a harder look, he did notice that it was covered in blood and dirt, and he looked even more closely, and he noticed this Halloween prop did not have fake blood, and it was not fake dirt, and it was in fact not a scarecrow. And he did notice that the so-called scarecrow was slightly breathing, and it had real hair, so he called
slightly breathing. 18 hours later.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was fighting for his life.
He was fighting. Yeah. Oh my God, 18 hours later after all of that. Oh my God.
So as soon as
hold on. Aaron's a son of a bitch. F that guy. Pissed. This case got me fucking pissed.
So he noticed it wasn't a real scarecrow, and he did see that it was slightly breathing, and it had real hair, so he called the police right away. So the officer that was on the first on site was Reggie Flutie. I think it's Flutie. And when she first walked up, so she kind of had to like drive her car to a certain way, but then she knew she couldn't make it all the way, so she had to get off and walk the rest of the way.
Okay.
And when she could see like a little more clear, she started running towards the body because she thought it was of a younger child, like of the age of 12.
Oh my gosh.
Matt was actually 21 years old, and he was 5'3" and weighed maybe 110 pounds.
Oh, because he was all scrawny,
so small.
Right? Yeah, he was tiny.
He was so small. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So when she seen the body, he had his back, he was on his back with his hands tied to the fence, and she said there was blood everywhere, that clearly he was brutally beaten and had no facial features that were visible. The only thing she was able to see that did not have blood were tear trails on both of his cheeks. So that's all she was able to see that did not have blood and dirt.
That's so sad.
In the documentary, someone does show her a picture of Matt, and they asked her, like, did he look like this? Like, would you recognize him? Yeah. And she said, absolutely not. Like, he looked deformed. And she said one thing that she did say was that while she was walking up to the body, she did notice that a deer was laying near him. And as she was approaching Matt's body, the deer was just staring at her. And once she got to Matt and she started kind of clearing his face, the deer just got up and walked away.
Oh,
And
so the deer was with him.
That gave me chills.
Flutie,
The deer was so sympathetic.
and Flutie said she felt a lot better because she felt like the deer was taking care of Matt, and it did not leave him alone until someone was actually there taking care of him. And Flutie kept telling Matt, "I'm here and you're not alone." And she did this so he knew that he was not alone and that help was there, and for him to keep fighting, because she wanted him to keep breathing until he got like to the hospital and all that.
Yeah.
So while she was clearing off his face, they did say that she had like a glove on, but it ended up like ripping because I guess it was like cheap or something.
Yeah.
And she said that at that point she didn't even care. Like she was just clearing his face more and more. That she didn't care like about her sanitation or anything like that. While she was clearing off the dirt and the blood from his nose and from his throat, because he was gurgling on his blood and dirt. So she was clearing it. Now, another sheriff did arrive, and his name was Sheriff O'Malley. And when he got to the scene, he said there was blood splatter for about a 50 feet radius and also drag marks. And later he did say that this was one of the most horrific scenes he's ever seen in his career. Now back to Aaron and Russell.
Those sons of
Those
bitches.
assholes.
So Aaron and Russell, after they left Matt, the boys went back to town and picked a fight with two Mexican American teens that were only at the age of 18. And one of the guys, Morales, was hit on the head with the same revolver that Matt was hit with. And he ended up needing 21 staples. And while Aaron was hitting Morales, his other friend beat Aaron in the head with a stick. And Aaron did end up getting a hairline fracture and was brought into the hospital that night. And he was actually put in a room 4 doors down from where Matt was laying unconscious in a coma. So after the cops found him, so I think Aaron was there first, and then when the cops finally found Matt, they took him to the hospital, and he was only laying like 4 doors down.
Wow.
I can't stand that, you guys. I can't stand that. If you're gonna be a worthless POS, be a man about it. Don't be fucking using weapons. Be a man about it. That pisses me off. How are you gonna pick a fight with 2 kids? You're so big, so grown, so fucking man, right? You're gonna pick a fight with 2 kids and then use a weapon? I can't stand that. You guys, Gina,
That's not even adult
this case
attitude though. Like you shouldn't even be picking any fights.
This case, Gina, oh my God. You're messing me up. You're messing me up. This thing is playing with my feelings, it's playing with my emotions. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to fucking feel about it. Go ahead, continue.
So at this moment, Aaron McKinney is not caught yet while he's at the hospital. Like nobody knows like anything like that. And they did like at the hospital, staff did ask him like this is a lot of blood that's on you, like on your shirt. Are you sure this is only like your blood and like from your head? And he's like, yeah, I just bleed a lot.
Liar.
So he was still like wearing the blood from
it was that same night.
Freaking liar.
But you would think he would change and shit, you know what I mean?
They went, did this to Matt.
Wow.
Picked a fight with 2 Mexican American teens, and then one of them ended up beating him, and then he went to the hospital, so he was still wearing the same exact thing.
Those types of people need to not exist.
Yes. So
those types of people need to not exist.
So while Aaron was in the hospital, Russell went back home. There's 2 more people you're gonna get pissed at.
Bring it on. I'm ready.
Russell went back home while Aaron was at the hospital, and when he was there, this is where both Aaron and Russell's girlfriends were. And while he was waiting at home for Aaron, and Aaron was finally released at the hospital. So he was there waiting, and then finally Aaron showed up. They both started coming up with a plan, and the two girlfriends even tried to help them get an alibi. And the boys told their girlfriends that they are sure he's dead, and the girls were just okay with it. And
Wow.
they helped them get rid of their bloody clothes, and they were all made the plan to say that they were watching movies all night, and that was their alibi. And
That's some yes.
I believe it's Aaron McKinney's girlfriend. They just had a baby. Like the baby was maybe a few months. But yeah.
Damn.
You're right. I
it
did
was
get pissed at
the
two more people.
murder.
China, you are right. I got fucking pissed at two more people. I hope those two bitches got life in prison. I hope those two bitches got life in prison. I hope they got found for, what is it called?
Accessory to murder.
Accessory to murder. I hope they got accessory to murder. I hope they got life in prison. And then that poor child is going to grow up with two terrible parents, two terrible human beings that you can't even call them animals, because an animal had more sympathy for a human than those people.
Yep.
I enjoy these cases a lot, but they irritate me so much. They make me so mad.
So Matt's parents at this time, remember, are still in Saudi Arabia, and they finally get a call at 5 a.m. in the morning. Now, Matt's parents thought it was Matt because Matt would always call very early in the morning. Like no matter what time he didn't care, he would just call them early in the morning.
Yeah.
But when the parents answered the phone, it was the hospital telling them that their son has been gravely injured, and they weren't sure if he was going to make it. So his parents automatically think that it was a car accident. Like this is what they thought, because that's all they told them was like
because they weren't told that he was assaulted.
Yeah.
That is terrible. That's so terrible.
They think that he's in a car accident, and so his parents went through the whole process of trying to get back home, and this took 50 hours.
50?
50.
Oh my God. Well, I wonder how long a flight is from, they're in Switzerland?
Well, it's a process that you have to get like from Saudi Arabia to the US.
Oh, they're in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So it's not like you can't just book a flight and leave.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Well, because they were living there.
So you can't just leave Saudi Arabia whenever you want?
I don't think so. I think you have to do a whole process.
Like con un permiso and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
What?
And like, sí, como también te hacen como exámenes, like physicals and stuff before you come to the USA.
So this whole process took 50 hours. It wasn't just a book and go.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm getting, I don't know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So at this time, they still don't know what actually happened. Now, when they finally got to the US, I believe it's either Dennis's sister or Judy's sister. She told them what happened, and she told them that it's national news, and they were like, what? I thought it was just a car accident. And she's like, no, it's like in multiple news stations, like this is going on and blah, 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 blah.
How sad. So everybody else knew, but his own parents didn't know what had happened. That's so sad.
So when they arrived to the hospital, they tell them all the extensive injuries that Matt received, and the doctors told them that he only had basic functions, and that's the only thing that was keeping him alive, and he will only survive in a vegetated state, and it will just most likely be his body that survives. Now, when they walked into oh God, okay. So when they walked into the room, they said they couldn't even tell that it was him. His mom said the only reason she knew it was him was because he had certain scars that she recognized as since he was little, and because he had braces. So she was only able to identify him by the braces and scars.
That breaks my heart.
So Matt did have stitches on his face in multiple places, and also had tubes everywhere, and his head was bandaged. And they do kind of show a slight picture of him like this in the documentary. It's like a quick little glimpse.
But you probably can't even tell it's him because of everything. You can't even tell like his face because of all the what is it, all the tubes and everything.
It's the tubes, the swelling, the stitches.
The swelling, unrecognizable.
Oh, poor baby. That poor baby.
Okay, so the next day, Russell and Aaron both get picked up by the police because they had gotten caught.
You were saying?
So the next day, Russell and Aaron both get picked up by the police because they had gotten caught. And when they interviewed Aaron, they asked him, like, did Matt ever tell you to stop beating him? And he replied with, well, yeah, he was getting the shit kicked out of him. But most of all, he was just screaming.
That's so fucked up.
And they asked him, like, well, then why did you keep going? And he said, oh, I blacked out, you know, just homophobe just make me go crazy, you know, because
no.
At this point he had talked to his lawyer already.
So they like prepared his ass.
Play that card.
No, that whole I blacked out BS. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that at all. If there is one thing that pisses me off is when people use the excuse, I blacked out. I stopped talking to people because they gave me that excuse. Oh, it's because I blacked out. I'm like, the fuck? No, you didn't. That's just an excuse because you want to act like a little fucking bitch about it. Sorry, guys. Go ahead. Sorry, guys. This case has me everywhere. This case has me everywhere, you guys. I'm so pissed at those people.
And so Aaron had said that he blacked out and he couldn't stop and he didn't know what he was doing. Now, Aaron did say that the way that his truck was parked when he tied Matt, he did freak out because he thought that Matt would be able to recognize his license plate and identify him. So since he freaked out, he would tell Matt, read my license plate. And when Matt started reading them, he kept hitting him with the butt of the revolver until he knocked him in and out of conscience. Then also he said he had even told Matt to tell him his address and where he lived so he could rob his place. He still
wasn't done. Oh God.
And he also told them that when he spoke to his girlfriend that night, that he told her, I'm pretty sure I killed a fag. And his girlfriend admits to this, that she did hear him say that.
Forget her too. Jail, guilty, both of them, life in prison. Life in prison. I hope there's somebody's puta in there.
Yeah.
So when Matt's friends and family found out of Matt's beating, and this was due to a hate crime, they knew the police were going to try and cover it as a robbery gone wrong. So
really?
So they all said they were going to put a stop to it before it even went out. So his former guidance counselor, Walt Bolden, who was also his best friend, and many people do say and think that Matt officially came out to Matt Bolden first, because his counselor was also gay, and he said that he understood him.
Oh yeah.
So his counselor is so badass that he called all the surrounding towns to make sure that it was said in all the newspapers that this was a hate crime and not a robbery gone bad.
Good.
That's good. That's good.
The next morning, he said that he woke up and the Washington Post was calling him, and he had a phone call after a phone call after a phone call that all the news places were calling him.
Good.
So one night, Matt's parents are just sitting there at the hospital waiting for a sign, waiting for a miracle. And his dad is going crazy at this point, just sitting there waiting. And he said he drove 4 hours from Laramie to Casper, Wyoming, where they had a storage unit. And when he got there, he went through every box that was there looking for a stuffed bunny named Oscar. When Matt was little, when Matt was little that he would never be without this bunny. So, and he wanted to take it to Matt to the hospital to hope if it would help in some way. And Matt pulled through, and I quote, he said, "I just wanted Matt to be Matt again."
Oh, Aaron, that's gonna make me cry. That's gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
That is so heartbreaking.
So that night he did not end up finding Oscar, but he did find him like later on. And he said he is glad that he has Oscar because he has something to hold Matt to. So when he holds it, he thinks of Matt. So his family was getting ready to say goodbye, but they did not want to pull the plug on him. And they wanted him to know that it was okay to let go. Oh God, this case always fucking gets me.
Oh God, no, yeah, no.
I'm happy I don't have to say it because I'm gonna start crying right now. I'm gonna start crying.
So his family was getting ready to say goodbye, but they did not want to pull the plug on him. And they wanted him to know that it was okay to let go. Because they were worried that Matt was just hanging on because of them. So his mom actually pulled the counselor Walt aside and told him, "Would you go into the ICU and would you tell Matt that it's okay to let go?" Because they said they can't do it and they don't want to tell their son to let go by themselves. And they need Matt to know that it's okay. Sorry.
Oh shit, I need a drink after that too.
So Walt did say that Judy telling him this did mean a lot to him. So Walt went into the room that night and talked to Matt for a little bit, and then he explained to him that he needs to let go and that he cannot make his parents go through pulling him off. Like, don't put it on them. They are okay and they want you to stop fighting. They know you are tired and they want you to stop suffering. And Walt left that night. On October 12th at 12:53, Matt passed away. And his family was there at his side, holding his hand. And his little brother was there at his side. And before, like, his little brother, when all this happened and they first got there, his little brother did not want to go in the room because he said he didn't want to see him like that.
Yeah.
So on October 18th was Matt's funeral at St. Mark's Church, and hundreds of people attended. And they even opened the church across the street because it was so packed. And when Matt did pass, I believe it was the CEO of the hospital, he came out and announced it, and he was crying. Like, he couldn't hold it. So also there at Matt's funeral, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about this, but it's the anti-church. No. It's the anti like LGBTQ church. So they'll go to like all these places where there's anybody that's like, they're like homophobes. So they go and they protest, and they like said that there's even like a little kid like you could see holding a sign that says like people that are gay go to hell, and like all this. So I don't want to get too much into it because that's like irrelevant. Yeah. Anyways, that anti-church was there. So Aaron's trial began on October 25th to November 4th of 1999. And he faced charges for kidnapping, aggravated robbery, and first-degree murder. They even discussed the death penalty. Now, since the death penalty was on the table, but his parents and his friends all decided they would rather want life without the possibility of parole. And Aaron's attorney tried to use the gay panic defense, and it was instantly dismissed.
What panic defense, my ass?
Because this is like the gay panic defense is like if they're like, oh, he tried to hit on me and I'm not like that. Like, so
I'm sorry, you're I can't even say the word, but you're the one that picked up this poor kid that is 5'3", 100 pounds, and you and your friend freaking picked him up and then took him out to the middle of nowhere and assaulted him and
Yeah.
robbed him unconscious. Like, are you kidding me?
And they were the ones that picked him up and had him in his
Nah,
car. It's not
no,
like
no,
he
no.
took them in his car. It was the
Exactly.
opposite.
No. You're gonna be doing the crime. You're gonna be doing because you're so freaking badass, or you're so man, or you're so whatever your reason is. But you can't deal with no. If you're gonna do the crime, do the freaking time.
Do the
dude.
time.
Do the time. If you're gonna do the crime, do the time, and don't be a little bitch about it, because that's what he is.
So, after the gay panic defense, once it was said, it was instantly dismissed. Like the judge said, no, this is not what happened.
No.
Aaron said that being a very homophobic, I flipped out and began to pistol whip the fag with my gun.
Fucking asshole.
And he was found guilty and was sentenced to 2 life terms without the possibility of parole.
Good.
And Russell also pled guilty and also got 2 life terms.
Good.
Now,
Good.
let me also just say that I think there's a book or somebody had wrote a book. I don't know if it's an attorney or someone wrote a book, and they said that, oh, that's not the way that it happened. That supposedly Matt was a drug addict and he knew Russell and Aaron and like all this stuff.
Okay, but even if that is the case,
yeah,
how
like
does
that
that
doesn't give you the
justify
right to
them
kill
doing that to
someone.
him?
So Matt's parents later created the Matthew Shepard Foundation to inspire individuals to embrace dignity. And on October 28, 2009, Barack Obama signed into law the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act. The act makes its federal crime as to assault someone based on sexual orientation or gender identity. Now, since this act is on Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr., I do also want to discuss that little case. It's really small.
Yeah.
So let me give you guys a brief story on what happened with him. So in the same year of 1998, on July 7th, 49-year-old James Byrd Jr. was a black man who accepted a ride from 3 white males and they murdered James. Their names were Sean, Lawrence, and John. They beat, chained, urinated, defecated, and dragged him for 3 miles. And he was conscious throughout this time because he was trying to pull up his head while he was chained. And the autopsy did show that he was moving from side to side to alleviate pain. And he did survive most of it until his head and arm were severed from his body by a culvert, and the remaining pieces these sick individuals threw in front of an all-black church.
Assholes, man. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
How inhumane.
And the only reason why James Byrd Jr. did accept a ride from these guys is because he knew one of them. So he felt comfortable going. And there is a movie based off of this, and that one you can find on Amazon Prime.
I'm over here like
it's an older movie, so it doesn't have all the features, but it does kind of show, and it shows that he was chained from his arms, and he was chained on his legs. They show pictures of his legs, and he was dragged for 3 miles.
That's horrible. And what is this movie called, by the way?
I don't remember what it was called, but I think if you just look up his name, it's on
his name.
Yeah, just look up James Byrd Jr. and it's Byrd Byrd, I think.
That is so sad. That is so sad. Oh my God.
Oh, it's called Jasper, Texas, because that's where it happened.
How can people be so evil?
So
how can people be so evil?
Those were my cases for today. It was a roller coaster of emotion.
Yes, that one was sad. It's sad because you know what? It still happens a lot. Not as like
Yeah.
this, as horrible, but
It
it's
does
still
happen
like
still.
a really tough subject.
It really is.
Yeah, it is. And it's
It's not
sad.
easy, you know, for them. It's not easy coming
Mhm.
out and stuff. It's really hard.
It's sad because, well, first of all, because of everything that they went through,
Oh yeah.
Matthew and what did you say the other gentleman's name was? James?
James.
Or junior.
James, for Matthew and for James to go through all of that just because of something that they can't even help.
Yeah, and then it's horrible deaths. I don't know how someone can do all that. Like
Horrible.
you have to be
Look,
such a freaking monster. You're not even human, like to do
I
something like that.
believe in an eye for an eye.
Oh yeah.
So I believe that the way that those men went out, unfortunately, their killers should go out the exact same way. I think so. I think an eye for an eye is justice in regards to what that is, especially because these guys don't they can't help themselves.
Yeah, but
They
you know,
can't
it
help
never
themselves.
happens that way. That's sad.
That's so devastating. China, did you find out if they were charged with the assault of the two Mexican American kids?
I don't think well, I'm pretty sure they were, but it doesn't say like everywhere where I kind of
Oh,
listened
okay.
to it, it didn't. Because on YouTube, you don't really find any of these cases. Like I looked
I've
up
never heard of those
Shepard.
cases.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, and these are just on 1998.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so recent.
Yeah.
That's so recent.
Mm-hmm.
You think about, you hear 98 and you're like, oh, dang, we're already in 2024, but that's less than 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Less than 30 years ago, people were doing this. And like
Yeah.
Rosa said, there's people are still doing this because of
Yeah.
race or because of
Yeah.
sexuality.
Well, yeah, like they just have it hard. I mean, they have it double as hard because one, they have to struggle with the fact coming out has never been easy for them, and then not
Yes.
being accepted is like
Oh yeah.
double, you know?
Yes.
And
What
then
is it? I
third,
heard
getting abused like this.
who I heard it somewhere. I forgot where I heard it, but I heard it where they said a son came out to their dad, and the dad said, like, thank you for telling me. I'll always accept you. I'll always love you. Like, I'll always have your back, but just be prepared for the outside world.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
unfortunately, and it's becoming more and more in liberal states. Obviously, in liberal states,
Yeah.
it's easier for LGBTQ to be more open and to be themselves, and it's accepted everywhere. But there are a lot of very homophobic and racist states still where you do have to go through a lot of BS once you do like out yourself as being a homosexual. Like, unfortunately, there is a lot of places like that, and that is really sad because it's like we're all human, we're all trying the best that we can, and one can't help oneself. Like, you can't help it if
Who you love or who you
who you love
like
or who
your
Yeah.
you're
love
attracted to.
preference. Like,
Like, even racist people, you
and
can't help
plus,
it
how does
if
it
you're
bother
black or
anyone?
brown.
Like, how
It
does it? I
doesn't.
don't understand why it bothers people so much. It's not like
It
they're like
doesn't.
doing anything to you. As long as they don't like fuck with you, they should just leave them alone. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
Like
It
let them
doesn't.
live their life.
I think like Aaron was trying to tell the interviewers like, oh, Matt.
Okay, so you were cut off, China. Go ahead.
Okay. So I believe Aaron did tell like the interviewers that supposedly Matt, like when they were on in the truck, that Matt grabbed his leg or something like that, and that's why it enraged him more. And I believe there is a 2020 episode on both Aaron and Russell. Like they speak, and I think their girlfriend also speak. Like their girlfriends also speak.
Nothing happened to the girlfriends? They weren't accessory to murder?
I don't remember. I think they did get jail time.
I hope so, because they deserve it. Because
Yeah, they
if
do
you're
deserve
okay
it.
with them just killing someone like that for no reason,
And what
like,
did he expect? What did POS Aaron expect when you're acting like you're gay and you're flirting with a gay guy? What do
yeah,
you expect? If you flirt with a girl and take her home or take her in your vehicle, the girl's gonna hit on you. Like, that don't make no sense. I don't care what
Bueno,
his
es que
reasoning was for saying that. That didn't make no sense.
the good thing is they didn't get away with it.
Thank God they didn't get away with it.
Yeah.
Gina, it doesn't say how they got caught or why they were arrested like the next day after they found Matt.
I haven't heard anything to how they got caught, but I think
Yeah.
it was just like they were probably like asking people like where was Matt's last date, you know, just investigating, and then
Oh,
the
like probably
Then
like
the guy at the
and
bar,
stuff.
right, too?
Yeah.
Él sí
They
miró
probably
cuando se
saw
fue
them
con
leave.
ellos.
Yeah, that people probably saw him leave with them.
Yeah.
I'm happy they got life in prison. Well, double
Same.
life in prison.
I hope they're getting it
And
every day in there.
I am too. That was just about to say that, Rosa. We're on the same frequency right here.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
So one of the girlfriends only served like 18 months in prison.
That's not even enough.
That's not enough. She deserves longer. She deserves life.
And which one was that
Forget
one?
her.
I think Aaron's girlfriend or wife or whatever
I
she
think it was
she didn't
Aaron's
fucking
girlfriend
time.
that only served like 18 months.
Oh
That's
no, she
fucked up.
deserves more.
She should have done more.
She deserves more.
Yeah.
Way more. That poor baby that they had is
Like, how
gonna
can you be
grow
with
up.
someone like that and cover up for something like that so disgusting and
How?
like monstrous? Like, oh my God.
How? Like there was, so I heard a story right now that we're talking about that. I heard a story yesterday, 2 days ago, and it was a, oh my gosh, where did I even hear it? I don't even remember where I hear it. Anyways, it was a family, right? And their son, when he was young, their son got sexually assaulted by not a neighbor, but somebody that lived 40 houses down. 40 houses down, sexually assaulted his child. Now
Oh God.
this man was gonna go and do something about it for his child, and his wife said, no, please don't do nothing, don't hurt the guy, I need you, he needs you, we need you for our family, to help protect us, to help take care of us, for financial support, emotional support, for everything, right? So the guy said, okay, that's fine. But in his mind, he said, once my son goes to college, that is when I'm going to do what I have to do for what they did to my son. Okay. So he worked every single day of his life. He supported his family. He took his son to school every single day. He was there for his son at his graduation. He took his son to college. And when his son went off to college, he went to that person's door, knocked on the door, and as soon as the person opened up, they said, oh, are you looking for? And the dad shot that person dead. And then the person that sexually assaulted his child came around the corner and he shot that person dead too.
Good.
And he went to jail, and he's serving, I want to say, I don't know if he's serving life, but he's serving a long time. And he said, I did what I had to do as a father and as a man that protects his family. He said, I waited and
he
I
was
took care of my
really
family.
I give him props for waiting, because seriously, I don't think I would wait.
Imagine this
He
being
waited.
your neighbor. Because it was his neighbor, right?
Yeah, he was 40 houses down. 40 houses down is what? 3 blocks? 4 blocks?
I know. So I give him props. Like
10, 15 houses
respect.
on a block. I
That's
was
crazy,
like, damn. So now that guy's like, I'm fine. I'm
Yeah.
in jail and I may not be able to be with my family, but you know what? My son got justice.
Yeah.
My son got justice, and he can walk around knowing that I took care of it as his father. And I was like, that is so crazy to me. That is so crazy. But yeah, he waited because his wife asked him to. He was there for his wife. He was there for his son. He was there for them to recover from everything. He was there for them financially. He was there to take his son to graduation. And then he said, you know what? All right, it's time. I'm going to take care of this person that hurt
Like
my
I did.
child.
They're good now.
I
They
did
can
what
take
I
care of
had to
themselves,
do.
so-
Exactly. I did what I had to do as a father, as a head of household, as a husband. And now I'm going to do what I have to do as a man. And I have so much respect for that. I don't think
Yeah.
he should have done jail.
Me neither.
I don't think he should have done jail. He's
That
not a
was
criminal.
justice, man.
He's not a criminal. He didn't commit any other crime.
I think
I don't
that
think he
you
should
know
have done
what?
jail.
I think that reminds me of, I think there's two teenage boys, well, they're probably adults now.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
their little sister was molested by their
By the
stepdad.
stepdad.
Yes. And once
Mhm.
they found out, they went and they beat him.
Hey.
Like, didn't
Two
they kill him?
brothers and their friend.
Yeah.
Two brothers and their friend. I don't think those guys deserve jail time.
Me neither.
Mm-mm.
I don't think they deserve jail time. It was going over, that case was going around a lot. I think, like, especially like on TikTok and stuff.
Yeah.
People were trying to get you. I signed the waiver, I think, to let him out.
I think I think
Yeah,
I signed the
I
waiver
think we
too.
all signed the
Yeah.
waiver to
Yeah, I
let
think
them
we
out.
all did.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I think
because I think we sent it to each other. Yeah, no, I don't think they deserve jail time. How are you gonna? And then it's so bad because freaking pedophiles and all those people go to jail 2 years
Huh?
and then get out.
Yeah.
They go
And
to
then
jail
they go
2
back to
years
their
and
old
then
ways
get out, and then they
because
get back to their old ways.
yeah, because that once they're like that, they're not gonna change.
Exactly. They need a permanent solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Permanent
They need a
solution.
permanent solution.
Exactly.
Stop that shit off.
Where is it? I read that somewhere. Oh my gosh, where is it? They have so child molesters, pedophiles and stuff, they get a chemical castration.
They should do that everywhere. That should be like done everywhere.
They get jail time and they get chemical castration. I forgot where I read it, where it's at, what country it is, but they get, and I'm like, dude, they should do that everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They should do that
Especially when they
everywhere.
do it to little kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, you know what, China, your case really messed me up, girl.
I know.
I was
That
like,
one was tough.
I'm
That was
sorry.
tough because
But you know what? This case, I think when I first heard about it, and I heard about it like 2 years ago, and it's always been on my mind ever since. Like, that's a case that I, for some reason, cannot let go.
yeah,
Like, that's a case that I'm like, for some reason, it's like,
it gets to you.
yeah.
yeah,
And it's sad. It's sad because pobrecitos, like really
yeah.
todo lo que sufrieron and just because of their sexuality, you know, like because of their preferences. Like that's so sad.
Yeah, because Matt was for being gay, and then James was for being black, because they did say that the three people that did this to James, they like later went into their like apartment that they had, or their room, and it had like all the racial, like the KKK and all that stuff, and like the
Those
swastika
motherfuckers,
and
sons
all
of
that
bitches.
stuff. And they said they even had like tattoos, and one of them even had a tattoo of a black man hanging. And
What?
and when this case did come out of James Byrd Jr., what's it called? I believe it was the KKK ended up going, and they were like protesting because they were like, "How are you gonna put people in jail for this, or blah blah blah," or like all this stuff. And
Are you
at
kidding
this
me?
time, I believe it was at this time when the Black Panthers even went up and they were like, "No," like they also got up and they were against this. Like,
They were against what?
well, like the KKK, so it's like the Black
The
Panthers.
protest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
but I
you were
finished that.
talking about how the Black Panthers came up, how they went and they were there to, you know what? I think it's really sad that we live in a world where all races just can't be happy with each other. It's like our
No, we
skin,
don't accept.
yeah, like our skin color has nothing to do with who we are as a person, as a human being, nothing to do with it at
Yeah.
all. I think it's ridiculous when people try to enforce their beliefs onto other people.
Oh yeah.
I think that's ridiculous. There's no point to it.
Just love each other. Like just
Yeah.
love everyone. Everyone is just accept everyone
Like,
as who they are. And that's
exactly.
it. It's not that
Like, if
fucking
you're
hard.
a good person, good. Like, we can get along. Like, why does everybody have to be like, oh, you're brown or you're black or you're this color or you're that color, I'm gonna have something against you? No, it's like, if you're a good person, you're a good human being, we're good. If you're a bad human being, obviously we're not good.
Yeah,
But
of course.
I don't understand that. Thank God and I won't ever, thank God. And my heart really goes out to Matthew's family. My heart really goes out to James' family. This case really messed me up.
I know, Susie, you had us moqueando
I
and everything over
know
here,
this
like, what the
case.
This
fuck?
is why I didn't want you guys to know what I was doing it on, because it's like once you guys get deeper and dive more into it, then it's like
Yeah.
you guys,
Yes. And
you
then
know,
after knowing that he had already gone through something like that in Morocco,
yeah,
and then
I know.
and then he
then
has
the
to
way
go
he,
through this at the end. It's
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, like why him?
yeah.
That poor baby. I can't imagine what his family went through, what his parents went through, what his parents probably felt so terrible because they were the ones that are supposed to protect him. Even though he's an adult, I think as a parent, you never leave that responsibility of, oh, I have to protect my child. So I
yeah.
can't imagine how much it destroyed his parents inside. I can't imagine. And
And then imagine them going to the hospital and like only being able to recognize him just because of his braces. They couldn't even recognize him. His like
yes,
su carita todo like deformado. Like, you know, oh my
yes,
gosh, you miras que se cae tu chiquillo y llora. It affects you. Imagine like que sepa que alguien hizo
yes,
todo eso a su hijo and just because of his sexuality, like
Yeah.
yeah, that's terrible. Like that's
yeah.
So
and then I'm a little bitch with like mirar cosas así que like letting go and oh my god, no, that just like I'm a little
I
bitch.
think
That kind of stuff.
I want to say if somebody hurts my kid, I'm going to be an eye for an eye.
Yeah.
I want to say that. I want to say that. If somebody hurts my child, I'm going to believe in an eye for an eye whether I get jail time or not. I don't know. Thank God nothing has ever happened.
I think I've
Yes.
heard like
But
a lot of parents do say that, like, you know,
Yeah.
if someone touches my kid, like an eye for an eye. But I
mhm.
do know that there's other parents that they're like, if you do that, you do realize that you're leaving another kid. Like if they have
That's
like,
the thing that is so that's where you're torn as a parent because you want
Take justice in your own
you want
hands
yeah,
justice in
for
your
your
own
kid.
hands, but at the
Yeah.
same time you have to think, man, if I do this, my child won't have me. So they would have gone through this trauma and they'll lose a parent at the same time.
yeah,
But then you're like, también te quedas like, oh my God, my kid went through this, and if this person is still like breathing, living here, like y que salga, like you don't want that because that can happen to anybody else's kid, you know?
Yeah.
So you're just,
Yep.
I don't know, it's just really hard. I don't know how I would deal
because
with it, but
in
Yep.
the Aaron McKinney trial, the dad did write a letter and he was just kind of telling him like, you know, oh, just remember that every Christmas, every 4th of July, everything like that you are celebrating and you are here for, my son is not. Like he was no more than 100 pounds, but he's the only person that I know that has fought more than anybody.
yes,
Sad.
he was really fighting. I think he was waiting for his parents too. He was waiting,
That's what,
like, no se
yeah,
quería
that's
ir.
why it's like you can't tell me that he was not just holding on for his parents, because I mean everything he went through, waited
Yeah.
waited 18 hours, and then on top of that waited 50 more hours for his
And
parents to
that,
go back,
yeah.
and then the days that his parents were there, and then just till the end and until he got the okay.
Ujú.
Like
Y, y luego así como dices tú que the deer was with him, I feel como que era como un angel. Like
yeah,
he was there looking out for him. It was like
because
an
To
the
let him know he
lady did
wasn't
say,
alone.
she did
yeah.
say that like the first thing she saw was like the deer, and it was just like watching her. And
How
then until she
sad.
kind of seemed like that she was taking like soft with him and taking care of him, then she just
Mhm.
got up and left.
That is so sad. That is
And you know
this
what? And
case
that's
was
good.
all over the place.
I
It
like
had me all
eso
over the
también that
place.
the cop was like good, you know, because también
Yeah.
you never know. There's que sí querían ayudarlo. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it turned to
So
his
sad.
favor for justice.
And you know what made me more like that was devastating to hear all that. And you know what like made it worse was that the parents and the counselor that he got so close to knew that the police department was going to try to play it off as a robbery instead of a hate crime.
Yeah.
That was like the cherry on top of the shit cake.
Yeah, and good thing that they got on it, because
That's
they could
what,
have gone like,
yes.
So
Yes,
in
because
the
who knows if that guy would have gotten life.
in the documentary of Matthew Shepard was a friend of mine, which you can find that one on Pluto, and you don't have to pay anything because I think it's just you just download the app and you just look it up and it's on there. So the Matthew Shepard is a friend of mine is on Pluto TV. That's the only place that I found it, but it's probably in other places. And then the James Byrd Jr. is on Prime Video.
Okay.
Mhm.
And it's just like in the Matthew Shepard, it does show like that, like they go more into depth of like everything that happened and more like that. I'm just giving like the basic statements.
Yeah.
And I think with the James Byrd Jr., I don't think I found a documentary. I'm pretty sure there's some out there, but I just found that movie and it does kind of like cover, and I know it's not going to cover everything,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but it did kind of just give you like an insight of what it was about.
I can't watch those. I can't watch those videos. I can't watch those movies. I can't watch those shows because I can watch true crime stuff. But when it comes to like racist, homophobic ones, I get
That's
so much
hard.
hate in my heart that I can't watch them. I can't watch them because I get so much hate in my heart. And I think, how can you be such a, how can you just be so evil, dude? That is somebody's child. That's somebody's husband. That's somebody's wife. That's somebody's
That,
loved one.
y luego aparte que they didn't even do nothing to you just because of what they, because of
Exactly.
what
¿Qué
they
te
like,
importa?
their preferences, like
¿Qué te importa? What does it matter
like
to you?
if you don't like it, just turn your fucking head, go your way, and like let them do
Exactly.
their thing. Like,
Turn around, walk away.
dude, he was drinking, estaba en el bar, he was enjoying himself, he wasn't bothering them. They're the ones that approached him. Like, really? Like, y lo peor, how you said that he gave him the wallet. Like, what more did they want? Like, took his wallet there. You have the money. Like,
Exactly.
just leave him.
For our viewers, we try to send a message every time. Okay,
Yeah.
we try to send a message every time, whether it's regarding not being obsessed with somebody, whether it's regarding having babies, and now whether it's regarding people that you don't like. If you don't like somebody, turn around and walk away. They're not doing nothing to you.
Just leave him alone, man.
Don't cause any harm to another human being.
I know.
Unless it's
It's not.
justified and you're defending yourself. If it's justified and you're defending yourself, okay, I get it. But if you just don't like them for whatever reason, turn around and walk away. You're not important. They're not important. Just
Plus, there's no excuses. There's no excuses to you killing someone the way they killed you. Even if, say, for instance, Matthew would have like touched this guy on the leg, that's not a fucking excuse to kill him the way to like hurt him
he
the way that
asked
they
for
hit
it.
him. That is not an excuse for
That
that.
guy, Aaron asked for it. Aaron asked
Yeah.
for that because he was playing a role that was not his to play.
Exactly.
But it's like
and
the
even
fact
then,
that,
like,
but you know they were coherent and they know what they were doing because they went into the restroom and planned it out that let's act gay, get him to come out and
Yes.
rob him.
Exactly. How are you going to get mad for somebody hitting on you when you're acting a certain type of way?
and
That's
then still
why
going back after that and then going to the bar and starting another fight with someone else. Like I was like, dang. No.
Those guys, I really, really hope and pray every single day that they get what they deserve.
Yeah.
And people that have heard about jail and prison, y'all know what I'm talking about, because that is what I'm hoping. I am hoping every single day because that's what they deserve.
Yeah, they deserve way more than that, but
be it with whatever
it
is, whatever object it is. I hope those two men get what they deserve. And the two girlfriends that went with 0 to very little jail time, I hope they get what they deserve.
Shame on them.
I think the good thing is like his mom has not stopped fighting for him and never stopped fighting for him. Like she's always making like these advocates and like the foundations and all that stuff like just for him. Like she's not giving up, and the reason why she says she's not giving up is because she knew that this is something that he would have done, and he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would have done it again. And she knows that he would
Yeah.
And so she feels like she's doing it more for him, like, and everything is for him. And so I think that speaks a lot for them, and it also speaks a lot because they had the death penalty on the table, and they didn't want that. Like they chose a different route.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes
Yeah.
me think, what is better? The death penalty or life in prison?
I think
I
maybe
think
like sometimes life in prison, because once you die, you're dead,
you're
right?
dead, you're
Like,
gone.
yeah,
I
like
think that
no
there should
sufres
be something
nada.
where it's like a torture in life in prison, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there should be that option.
Like when we
I
were
think
talking,
like death penalty should be for the people that you might que dicen they might have an option to get out one day, then be like, no, death
Yeah.
penalty. But for the people que les dan life in prison, you're not getting out ever hasta que te mueras. Eso está bien para ellos.
like that
Yeah.
case that we were talking about that Sissy covered, what was it? Crystal Candelario?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like how we had said, like if only in jail, like she was treated the same exact way, and when she's about to die, like,
Yes.
don't let her die, but
Yes,
keep,
don't let that
Yes.
bitch die.
you know what I
I
mean?
think
Don't let
there
her.
should be an option like that. I
Mhm.
really do. For these types of cases where there is so much proof, where it is like undeniably 100% guilty, I
Yeah.
think there should be that option of
Yeah.
eye for an eye, but don't let them die.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just let it keep going, let it keep going, let it keep going, because you're such an evil person that you did that to another human being. That what did they do to you? Nothing. An
Nada.
innocent human being. You deserve it for the rest of your life. You deserve it. You deserve that torture.
Yeah.
Well, dang, China, you really messed us up, man. You had us
Yeah.
crying today. You
I
had us
know.
mad.
I'm
Well, you had
You
me
had us
mad.
with mocos and shit. You had me crying. You had Esmeralda trying to like punch somebody over there, and she was pissed.
Well, it's
And
because
then
it's a hard case, so I couldn't just keep it to myself. I had to share.
Yeah,
it was a good case. That
that's
was really
really
good.
sad. That was a really, really good case. And then you ended it with James, and that one really messed me up too.
I know.
That one really messed me up too.
It's just so
And
sad.
it's so
Yeah.
sad. It is,
Yeah.
and it's so funny because like my husband will ask me, he'll be like, oh hey, like what are you guys talking about today? And I'll tell him. Or if we don't know, or what after we're done, he'll be like, oh, what did you guys talk about today? I'll tell him some of the cases. Like I told him the oh my gosh, what was her Jailene Candelario, right?
Oh
I
Yeah.
yeah.
told him the case of her, of the baby, and he said, thanks, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Aw.
I don't want to listen to it. He said, I don't know how you guys talk about it. I don't know how you guys can look into it. He goes, that breaks my heart. I can't listen to it. So it's very hit and miss with him what I can share, because he goes, that's so terrible. And it's so true,
Yeah.
because they say that the majority of women can listen to these cases, and we look for them and we research them, and it's like, why? But I think it's because we're vulnerable
Emotionally,
in
I
the
think. También emotionally
emotional, but I
affected.
think like also physically, we're more vulnerable than a man.
Yeah.
So I think
Like
listening to these cases,
for us
we
women, we
nos
will cry
preparamos.
about it. Like we'll cry about it, but we're still there listening to it, like
Yeah.
researching more.
Yeah,
And
but I think because it also helps us prepare to what to look out for
yeah.
in the world, because we don't know who we live next to. We don't know none of that.
I
Yeah.
know.
Like in this case, I was covering Matthew Shepard, but I did also have to cover the James Byrd Jr. only because it goes hand in hand, because both of these
Yes.
things did happen during the same year, and the right that Barack Obama did sign was for both of them. So it, like the bill that he passed. So that is why I had to mention both of them. So it's
Yeah.
like I couldn't just mention one and not the other.
No,
Yeah.
of
No,
course
and
not.
it
And
was
James
good
also
that you.
deserves that recognition of what happened to
Yes.
him and all of that too. So
Yeah. Definitely.
yes, but well, China, you gave us an awesome case. I'm happy that you didn't tell us to look into it, because it really,
I
really
know.
was I don't know if you could tell, but it impacted me and Rosa.
I know it did. It
So
really did.
that was a really good case. Ladies, unless you guys have something else to add.
No, we just want to say
No?
thank you, and we hope that everybody like takes in mind that we just have to love each other and like respect each other, and we're all human, and you know, that's all that matters. Like,
If you
Yep.
don't like something, walk away.
Walk away.
on your own biz, like,
Yes.
Mind your business. Walk away. You don't gotta tell them nothing. They don't gotta tell you nothing. Keep on going on, man. Live your life.
yes, let's all just
Yeah.
show a little bit of love.
Yes. Peace and love, man. Peace and love.
I know.
Yes.
And
But
thank
all right,
Well, I hope you
ladies.
guys enjoyed our 10th episode.
Yes, número
10th
10.
episode. Oh, you guys, 10th episode. Oh my gosh. Alrighty. Well, cheers to the 10th episode. My hair's looking a little crazy right here.
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers. And we will see everybody next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.